Okay, I'm back. You there? Okay, when we were last talking, you were criticizing I know you wouldn't criticize the aesthetics because that wouldn't be original. So you were criticizing the haftability of this point. All I did was a little bitty flake to sort of straighten this ridge up. It was from the delta. So now I got to very carefully isolate the other side because I just did a tiny little flake right there to make this real prominent, because if I don't and that thing flares out, instead of just running that ridge, it's right there by the edge. And that's likely to be what we call a boo-boo. All right, here's what I'm gonna do now. You with me? Can you see this? Nod your head. All right. I've straightened that. I've got a little platform thing. I'm going to try and angle it a tiny bit towards the center so it don't run off this side and so it follows that ridge. Are we all on the same sheet of music? Because we're only going to play this song one time. All right. This is a do or die situation. I mean, seriously. And I am nervous. And if this doesn't work, somebody's in trouble. All right, are you ready? You sure? Didn't work. Didn't run. All right, well, it straightened it out a little bit. And I ain't got a ridge to do anything else with. But since we are not working with a full-size clovis here, it might actually be amusing to further mess up and run a pressure flake along that ridge and see what happens. What do you think? I know, you think I'm just a wild man and that this experimentation has gotten out of hand and somebody needs to call the laws. Which, you know, may be true, I don't know. Well, it didn't make it much worse. All right, so now we've gotten our fluting. Little basal concavity here. Now I gotta try and pretty this little thing up a little bit and then get on down the road. I'm using my pad backwards, and I'm not particularly worried about the pressure flakes intruding into what would have been my fine flutes, since my flutes are not that fine. Because y'all pulled that, hold my beer and watch this thing on me. Oh, you know what, man? I'm just getting pressure flakes all over the end of this thing. I should have put in, nah, I'm not gonna worry about doing percussion flakes. On a little bitty point like this, a pressure flake looks like a percussion flake. Alrighty. I wonder which bayou I ought to throw this in. Hey, goodbye, Joe. Me gotta go, me on my own. Me gotta go pull the pirogue down the bayou. Son of a gun, I'm gonna have big fun on the Bible. I'll tell you what, man. I have been in the Cypress Swamp on my little kayak. I don't own a pirogue. And you talk about snakes that ain't afraid to see you and ain't never met anybody like you before and feel like it's their bayou and not yours or their swamp. And then you kind of want to stay out of the swamp, you know, when it's like baby season for gators. If you're in a boat that is smaller than some of the gators. One time I was kayaking with my son, and I mean, we know the gators are there everywhere, and we know to not be looking for crap along the banks and stuff like that when it's near dawn or dusk. But it was a real freaking hot day, and I got out of the boat and was wading in the water to cool off. And looked up, and there's a gator in front of me looking at me. But fortunately, it wasn't a big gator, and so he wasn't sure which one of us was in trouble, I guess. So it wasn't a problem. I tell you though, the thing I'm most scared about around here is quicksand. Because I've stepped in quicksand before that wasn't real bad. But one time, I pulled up to the mouth of a creek and I swung legs over the side to get out of the boat, and quicksand got me. Fortunately, I hadn't gotten out of the boat yet, so I just sat back down on the boat. But I don't know how deep I would have sunk. I might still be sinking. This is a cute little point. It's kind of silly in a way, but my wife's funny. When I she'll come outside and say something, and I'll say, "Oh, I'm filming," and everything. She gets all flustered, like, you know, wondering if her hair and her makeup is looking good and all that kind of stuff. Pretty amusing. What time is it? 9 minutes. What should I do now? This is really kind of boring, and actually it stopped raining. The sun's shining now. I want to get out there and beat on a big rock. That's what I like doing. I need to show y'all that. I need to get a preform going though and show y'all how that blade, that copper blade tech kind of stuff works, where you take a flat blade, like kind of a screwdriver blade copper bit, and do the same thing like I didn't show y'all that other video. I got to decide whether to post it or not. I made an elbow point yesterday, and I'm so concerned about my poor abo techniques that I'm not sure whether or not to. First of all, it took me forever, but the other thing is I'm just not sure if I want to show y'all the techniques I'm using, since they're not highly successful. This would be a good earring. If you just had one earring, you know. By the way, I'm doing craziness here. See what happens. You remember that flute that I said wasn't good? Well, I just shot a flake across it at an angle. I'd done an isolation there and I shot a flake across there. So now that was the original flute channel, ran to there, and I ran another one across that far and a little one over there. So I actually have got like a triple flute on this or something. But you can see, I don't know if you can see, the base is very thin. So if what you were worried about was effectiveness with the fluting for hafting purposes, this thing is consummately haftable. And semi-cute. Alright, so now I need my little leather. What time is it? 11. My leather, and just kind of do a little bit of I don't really feel like doing this. This is not by any stretch. You haven't seen anything that looks like my classic Clovis concepts with how I do stuff with a Clovis when I'm making one. This is not how I really do it. And unfortunately, my memory isn't great, so I don't really remember with the ones that I think I did a couple of them that I've posted, and I don't feel like going back and watching them to see what I think of my technique on them. The first couple of videos I made, I was so nervous that Lord knows what I showed you and said. Once you get where you've napped a lot and you've made some points you like and everything, hopefully some of y'all are already there, but for those of you that aren't, at some point you need to try and slow down and enjoy the ride, and the process of making the stuff, and not be in a big rush. Well, put it on here where you can see it. What do you think? I think it's kind of cute. I don't even know if that... I noticed this thing doesn't look like it focuses well when it's videoing. Maybe it doesn't change focus. Don't know. I'm not going to do any more on it right now because I've got one ear cattywampus to the other ear, and I would adjust that normally, but hang on, I'll adjust it. There, it's adjusted. Baby Clo out of citronelle gravel. All right, I'm stopping. Bye.